Hey there. I wanted to make another video about subliminal messages and programming specifically. Basically Inception, which is what's going on in this world at all the time basically, because we um, we are subjected to it from the time we're born, and we we learn through subliminal programming, and to also regurgitate that programming to other people, and depending on what we say or how we say it, changes how they react to it, which is just an emotional reaction that the subconscious is giving off from the programming that person has. We're all programmed to some extent. Even I'm programmed. I'm working on getting rid of most of my programming, which I'm doing a pretty good job at, I believe. But it's impossible to get completely programmed when you're in the world, because you're even literally programmed to the world, because we're grounded to it. We believe that there's gravity and we live by it, when it's just something that someone told us and we believed it, and it's a program that we're riding with. And there's just so many people that are with the program, so it works. If enough of us broke away from it, I think that gravity would end. I mean, everything would end if enough of us broke away from it. But it all starts when we're born. And when we're first born, I don't think that we come out looking for ideas from other people. I think that we look at other people and we wonder what they're doing, but we don't look at it to learn for ourselves as a baby. They don't look at what someone's doing after they first come out of their mother to look to see if that's what they want to do. They just look out of curiosity to see what's going on. But they already know what they want to do. They want milk. That's the only thing they want. That's the only thing that they're going to communicate to you at first, is they want milk. They're going to go to sleep, and then when they wake up, they want to eat. And then they're going to go back to sleep for the most part. That's what they do. And from there, it just turns into a bunch of programs, because you start to introduce pacifiers, which confuses the baby. They don't even know what that is. And they start to cry for other various reasons, because they're not getting the nutrients that they want. And mothers will give them the pacifier. And they eventually learn that this is what you put in my mouth when you're not going to feed me. and they go with it. So a lot of kids become programmed to the pacifier and having it in their mouth. And so a lot of kids will hold on to that until they're 6 years old, possibly. It all depends. I mean, most people would get rid of it before that point, just because they feel it's not something the child should have at that age, because, again, it is a common conception. It's a program that we shouldn't have baby things for too long, when really we shouldn't have them at all, because we don't need them. When we're natural, we know exactly what we want, and we know exactly what we're going to need. The problem is, before we can actually get to that point to tell and communicate with people in this world, because people in this world don't know how to communicate with a baby, because they can't talk. And we only know how to communicate through talking right now. We can't communicate through our minds, which that's how a baby communicates, is through their mind. That's how they know things. That reminds me of the movie Baby Geniuses, where all the kids, until they turn, I think it's 5, which is when you go to kindergarten, they know the secrets of the world. And they talk to each other, but the parents can't understand what they're doing at all. And when they turn 5, they forget everything, which is just showing the programming that really starts to take hold of you as soon as you start school. But it starts way before that, because parents program their kids by just saying that, I like to do this when I was this age. I love to smell flowers. I love to sit outside and listen to the rainfall. And there's nothing wrong with these things, but the problem is, you're telling your kid what you like to do instead of just letting them figure out if they like it first. When you tell someone that you like it, you're instantly giving them that idea, whether they realize it or not. Especially when it's a young child, who they're also taught to listen to their parents in this world and to not disobey their parents. And when you come with that attitude with a child, they're also going to just automatically listen to everything you say. They're going to listen to when you say you like something and when you say you don't like something, which is why after so long you eventually end up acting just like your parents, because eventually that seed that was planted when you were a baby takes hold. It's Inception at the greatest level, and it's been done for so long that it just keeps getting carried on now from generation to generation. It's the parents have to realize what they're doing to their children, and that they're actually molding their children to be how society wants them to be and not how their child wants to be. It's all how, and it's really not even how society is, it's how the world is. It's all built around the program, and until enough of us realize it, it's going to keep on going on. I mean, when a child says that they want something that the parents doesn't think is good, they tell them this isn't good, and the child won't listen at first, because that's not how programming works. It doesn't instantly take hold. It's just like in the movie Inception. You have to plant it so deep that you don't realize that it's your idea. And the way to really do that, though, is to keep telling someone over and over and over. And eventually, even if they don't like it, they're going to change their mind at some point. Even if they don't want to, they're going to. And they might even realize that they did, but they're still going to, because that's how they were programmed to act in the beginning. And that's just really how the whole world carries out, is we're all programmed to react a certain way. We're programmed with these emotions that we believe are our emotions when they're not. We're taught all of these emotions that we have. We are taught to laugh when to laugh, to cry when to cry, to feel pain when to feel pain, to be sad when to be sad. We're taught all of the emotions. None of it is natural to us, because we're not allowed to figure out what's natural to us. I really don't know what our natural emotions would be. I really don't believe that we have emotions, because they really don't help at all. Even when you're happy, you have to really think about why you're happy, because a lot of times it's because of something else making you happy. It's not because of you actually being happy, which when you're happy within yourself, you're content. You're good with it. You're just okay. You don't go around laughing. You're good. You're okay with everything, and you're relaxed, which is really what I believe it all comes down to, is all the emotions tense you. Even when you laugh, it creates a certain tension in your body. It creates a looseness as well, because happy emotions are more powerful than the negative ones. They hold on to you more, and it gives you that false sense of relaxedness, but it also, when you have a high, you're going to have a low. So when you're happy, you're also going to have a sadness. And the only way to really stop that is to be even keel. It doesn't mean you can't laugh. I mean, this is what we know right now. We have to figure out what we do, but really we don't do anything, because these bodies aren't ours. These bodies were given to us by someone else. Who knows? Right now it looks like the Freemasons are the ones that control the world, because they have their numbers coded on everything, which you can see through gematria. If you check out my other video, I talk about it shortly, but it also goes over a little bit more of how that plays into the world with gematria. I'll include a channel at the bottom too that will explain it a little bit more than I'm going to. But the gematria really shows you how the programming works with us, because it shows you that all of the numbers relate no matter where they are. They can be words that we think are completely different. They really relate, and that's how our mind works. Our mind doesn't work through these words. When we have thoughts, we think that they're words that we're thinking, but that's just how we perceive them, because that's how we actually communicate with people. If we didn't have words to communicate, I don't know how we thought, how we would think. I mean, you would have to wonder how a baby thinks, because that's how we would think. When that baby first comes out of the mother, whatever is happening in their mind and however they perceive it as the communication is how we would actually communicate with each other, not with words, because the words were given to us. The English language was given to us by someone, the Freemasons. They created the English language. It is completely coded to the T with gematria, which is the only reason English language was created. Which is also why they're globalizing the English language, because it is the prime jewel that has all of the subliminal messaging, all of the coding programmed into it exactly how they want it. And it works perfectly, as you can see. When you look around, I mean, everyone's programmed. People are programmed at different degrees, though, just like everything. Everything in this world comes in layers. And there's different types of subliminal messages. And you have some that are in movies where you will see a flash on the screen that shows something that you can't actually see. But it's your mind that picks it up, and it knows what it is before you do, unless you go back and watch it and pause it and see what it says or see what that image was. You won't actually know, because your brain is way too slow to pick up all of these things. It's your mind that really does it. And that, I think, is just a small part of the programming. That's something that they show us. That's a program they show us. Most of the program we don't even see, because it's Inception. It's just like the movie. It's so deep, it's so small, it's so fine that we will never think that it's not our idea. And it has to be, because otherwise we will reject it, because we are extremely intelligent beings. And we're not going to allow someone to program our mind with us knowing. So they have to do it through other types of ways, which they have started somehow. I'm not sure exactly how it all started, but now it just happens in the society. It's all built into the world that we are living in, and everything that we see is a program. Even if we grew up in nature and without even any parents, and we chose to look at nature to learn what to do, like the Jungle Book, we're being programmed by the animals to do what they're doing. It's no different when we're born into the industrial world and we're doing what they're doing. We're being programmed to do it. We're not choosing to do it by any means. And a lot of us don't realize that until it's way, way, way too late and we're on our deathbed, or we realize it and we choose to do nothing because the programming is that good. A lot of us realize the problems that are in this world and the things that go on, but we choose to just keep going with it because we're programmed to. It is literally what they show us, that we can't do that much. We can do enough for us to live and to live a good life as they show us what is a good life, but most of us don't take that extra step because we're not shown how to take that extra step. You have to learn how to do that yourself, and you have to break out of the program that we're all put into. And I feel that it's happening more now than ever, but this is the only time I've ever lived in as far as I know. So I couldn't really say that, but I definitely see a lot of people, which might be because of my mindset, that have the same thoughts and ideas like me, that this world just isn't right. Now, a lot of people just don't do anything, though. I think that that's why I want to make these videos, because I want to show people that there's people out there that have the same thoughts as you. Even though you might think you're crazy, you're not. You're absolutely not crazy. This world is a program, and we have to realize that. We have to work on taking ourselves out of the program that the world is. It is just like any computer program. We can break it. We just have to choose to, and we have to put our energy towards it. We have to all put our energy towards it, and we will break the program, because programs are not solid. They have tons of holes in them, which is why people are beginning to wake up, because the holes are showing. Look at 9/11. You cannot believe that that is real with the proof that shows how, and let me rephrase that. Not that it wasn't real, it's definitely real, but you can't prove that it wasn't set up. It was absolutely set up. It was done by the Freemasons, the Zionist Jews, and the Jesuits. It was made to look like it was the United States, but it goes much bigger than that. That's another program. Eric Snowden, he's a controlled opposition. That is a program they put out there so that people would believe that someone is standing up to them, for them. And they rally to that because we are programmed to do that. The same thing with religion. We are programmed to wait for Jesus to come back. We are programmed to wait for these guys, these people to come back to save us because we can't do it ourselves. It is a program that is through all religions and even through a lot of spiritualities that we can do so much, but we can't actually change the world. We might be able to create our own world, but we can't change this world that we're in, because that's a program that they have put out there so that we don't try even. Because once we get enough people to try, it's all going to stop, and they don't want it to happen because they like this world. They like these material things that they have, that they've created around us with our energy. And they have programmed us to like it as well because our energy. So we're naturally drawn to it, but we have to realize that these objects we can create. They're just energy. It's just a program that was set out in front of us so that we continue to live this mundane life in this world and go along with it. And we just have to realize that and start looking at how just look at how people react around you and how they live their daily lives. Most people are in some type of routine, doing the same things over and over and over. Even kids as young as 2, 3, 4, they're doing the same routines over and over and over. They're watching TV. They might go play outside for a little bit. They'll play with other kids. They'll play with their toys. They'll watch more TV, which is programming in itself. The TV itself is a huge place where the children get programmed with these emotions and ideas of how to live in the world. On one show that I seen on Nick Jr., Paw Patrol, they give you these little lines that are only a few words long, but they tell the kids how to react in certain situations, how that they shouldn't be compassionate to others. There was a boy that was happy that someone got saved in the show, and he said that, or I think it was a dog, because they're all dogs, but they, which again, I'm sure there's a reason that they're all dogs in that show. There's a reason that they do all that type of stuff in the TV shows. It's all to make you think a certain way. I've never looked into it to think of why, but I'm sure there is. But he said someone got saved in the show, and he said that he was glad that this person got saved, and he said it in a happy way. And then one of the girl dogs said, "Are you happy, or are you showing compassion that someone for this person?" And the boy dog said no, and said it in a low voice and turned his head and said he was just glad that they were okay. And he totally changed the demeanor, which that is putting that idea into that little child's head that has no idea what they just watched. And that is all over in shows. Those little things that, how people really act in this world, they're all over in the kid shows. which is why I don't allow my daughter to really watch any shows anymore, because I started to see her and how she reacted by what was on the show. And she didn't know it until I actually started to ask her, did you see that on the show? And she would think about it, because she's a very smart girl, and she would say, yes, I did see that on the show. And she still doesn't realize that it gave her that idea necessarily, but it happens just like that, because the kids do not know not to listen to those things, which is why they put those shows out there for them. That's why they put all these colors and different types of things that children are supposed to like in them, so that they get programmed by the little emotional things they put in there, that when most parents see, they just see that that's how people react in this world. But when you have to realize, the only reason people react like that in this world is because they were shown to act like that in this world. That is not how this world would actually work if we chose to make it how we actually want it to. There's no reason for all of that, because all it leads to is problems. People end up hurt because of it. People go in circles. That's what this world is about. They go in circles because of it. Because the emotions go in a circle. It's all a circular path. You have this emotion, then you'll have this one, then you'll have this one, then you'll have this one again, and then you'll go to this one. It's a circle. When the only way to really stop it is to try to contain the emotion and stop the reaction that happens from it. You have to stop the instant that wants to come out right out of you, because that's what you're programmed to do, is to just react. Just right away, throw something out there without even using your mind to think if that's really what you want to say. And even at first, when you do start to do that, you're still going to most likely give a programmed response, but you'll start to realize over time that the response that you're giving isn't really that great of a response, because listen to them and listen to how then they talk to you. Depending on who you're talking to, they're going to say something that's going to bring you guys right into a circle, which is what all of the programming is about. Is to keep us running in circles in this world until we die. And then we do it all over again. We run in circles doing it all until we die. It's a routine. It's a huge routine. It's a routine on a grand scale. This world is built in layers, and the routines are no different. The programs are no different. The food is no different. Lifestyles are no different. I mean, you can go live in nature, and you're still going to be in the world. It's built in layers. Just because you think you're escaping the reality of the civilized, industrialized cities, you're still part of the world, and you're still living in the circle of the world. And the only way to really get out of it is to start to stop the program, break the routine, do something different every single day, which I would love to do, except I'm still working because I'm still stuck in my work routine. I have to go to work every day, unfortunately. Luckily with my job, I have a lot of flexibility, and I'm able to work from home a lot, which really helped me a lot, I think, so that I'm not in the office every day. I'm not doing the same exact thing, pounding away at my computer from 9 to 5 every day. I have flexible hours to sort of change it around. And I'm also always going different places with it because I'm an IT tech, so I'm always going somewhere else. So it definitely helps with breaking the work routine with the job that I have. But regardless, it's still a work routine. It's still doing the same thing over and over, which we just have to work towards breaking that routine, breaking the circle, and question the reactions and the instantaneous things that we spit out to people that we want to say. Because a lot of times it's really not coming from us. It's coming from something we read on the internet, something we've seen on TV, something our friends told us that we never even looked into, but they're our friends, so we believe them because they have the same mindset as us. That's the problem with our friends all having the same mindset, is that we form this alliance, and when someone has a different mindset, we reject it and react to it. And we have to learn to control that and to realize that people have different thoughts in this world. And once we do that, we'll start having different thoughts because our thoughts will start to become our own. That we don't have to have the same thoughts as other people because we don't. All of our thoughts are completely organic from each other. They all come from inside of us. They don't come from the outside. And we have to get them to come from the outside, or from the inside, instead of from the outside, which the whole entire world is programmed to keep you looking at the outside in every direction, walking in a circle, doing the same thing. And we have to work against it. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say. No, I think I covered it all there. If it is, I'll add it on to the end. That's it. Have a good night. Okay, I remember what I wanted to say. I was looking into ancient Egypt and Kemet, as it's called as well, a lot before I found gematria and started to realize that we are in a program and that our entire life is programmed. They actually showed in ancient Egypt that they used subliminal messaging to program the people that were part of the society there. They use these symbols, which are Freemason symbols, I know now. They use the text, or I guess they're mostly symbols, and the hieroglyphs, which was their words. But they were their program to tell people how to act in their society. Now they said that it was a positive program, but that's the spin they put on it with what I was reading, and they related it to today's programming and subliminal messaging, which is a negative program and subliminal messaging. When any program is negative, no matter if you try to do it for a positive reason or a negative reason, because there is nothing that's positive or negative. Both are a program that was put into place by someone, whoever started the subliminal messaging, which I think is something out of this world that's created this world, because this whole world is created through programming us. They incepted our mind somehow and began programming it and manifested this world out of it through us, through our mind. But even when you do a positive program, even if everyone in society is positive and doing all these great things to improve the society, you're stuck in that society. You can't do anything else. You're stuck doing everything that they're doing, which isn't what we are about. We are about doing anything we choose, not what the society wants us to. So even if it's a positive program, it's still a negative program because we can't do what we want to do. And we have to realize that even when we see something that's positive, if it's not really what we want to do, we shouldn't be doing it. We need to do what we want to do, what we want to actually pursue and try to do with our energy that we have here, which I think most people, once they get deprogrammed, will realize that they really don't like this world because everything is telling them what to do. And you're not doing anything for yourself, and no one likes being told what to do. That is obvious when you try to tell someone what to do, even when they're programmed. They won't listen to you for the most part, unless they're doing it out of kindness or to help you out. They won't do it just to go do it for you, especially if it's a complete stranger, unless that person is very kind, which again is a type of program that they would have taken on and they're carrying out to help other people as much as possible, which that's what they want to do. That's fine, but you have to realize that it's also a program and you're not really necessarily doing what you want to do. And like I said, everyone here wants to do what they want to do. They want to do it when they want to do it, and they want to do it right then. And we can't right now because we don't have the power to really create what we want to create right now because we're stuck in someone else's program. So that's why we have to deprogram our mind so that we can get out of the world, and then we can manifest anything anything we want, any worlds, universes, multiverses, who knows? Whatever our mind comes up with, which is, I mean, I'm just using words that are part of the English language. I can't even express anything without it because it's the only language I know. But there's definitely other stuff that we would create. We wouldn't want to create cell phones and computers and TVs because this stuff keeps us here. We would create stuff to make us expand, to make everything expand. And that's not what this world is about right here. There could be multiple worlds that are about expansion and doing your own thing, creating your own thing. But this world is a paradigm. This world is a trap, and it's used to keep us running in a circle, which is why it's a paradigm. So a paradigm is something that keeps going around and around. It doesn't necessarily have to be a circle. A lot of cases people use staircases as an example, but it's still going around and around and around, just like a merry-go-round. And that's all this world is. We have to put it to an end. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.